It's Saturday morning. It's 9 o'clock. It's only one thing. It's the Monster Magic Saturday Show. Let's do this.
Wake up, it's a beautiful morning. Feel the sun shining for your eyes.
Woohoo! Yes, it's been a week already. And now the best part of the weekend is about to start. I've got some corker products to run through with you today, this morning. Can't keep it down to just about half an hour. So let's not waste any more time. So first up, we have my poker collection by Martin Braessas. I've had a lot of practice mentioning Martin's Braessas' name because he's released quite a few things of late, and I have pretty much liked them all. I think they've all certainly got merit. And if you like a poker collection, then do check out his other stuff. This is basically a sort of extended take on NFW by Gary Freed, which later was borrowed by Richard Sanders to become Ace. But it takes that and it adds a little bit of Di Vernon's Twisting the Aces, followed by an incredible sort of 4-card change at the end. So there's a lot of magic going on, all wrapped up in a nice packet trick that makes sense. The routine that I would do, one of the routines, he teaches various different routines on the tutorial. I would bring out my my card collection, have it sort of still in with the wallet, as it were, little card wallet, and ask someone to pick a card from a deck of cards. When they pick the 10 of spades, I open up my wallet and show that my card collection is in fact full of the 10 of spades. So that's the first bit of magic. You then do a bit of Twisting the Aces, where you show one by one the 10s all turn face down, revealing different coloured decks, which obviously makes sense because it's your collection, so they've come from different cards. And also it adds a little bit of colour to what is Twisting the Aces. It's nice to see different coloured back designs turning up. It's just a bit more beautiful, if you were, it makes the trick aesthetically much nicer. Once they've all turned face down, you then reveal that in fact they're not all of the 10 of spades. They are in fact your favourite poker hand, the royal flush, and you've got the ace, king, queen, jack and 10. You don't quite end clean, but it's pretty, there's sort of one card they can't examine. The rest you're absolutely fine. It is great. The props are printed by the USPCC company, and you might recognize some of the back designs from other decks that they do. And it's great that these are included because it means you're good to go right out of the box. The gimmick is good to go right out of the box as well, so you don't have to go faffing around buying anything at all. You can change these from, if you've got a favourite deck of cards, or you think you might be able to come up with a better contrast, or even if you want them all the same, you can swap these cards out. These are basically just normal cards. It's just one card is gimmicked. It's such a simple routine to perform, a lot of fun to perform, and you get so much magic out of essentially the Elmsley count, really, plus a bit of the Twisting the Aces. If you don't know the Elmsley count, Martin does teach it really well in great detail, and he obviously teaches the twisting section. If you don't do Twisting the Aces, I urge you to look it up and give it a go. It's a great little trick you can do with just the 4 aces, and especially when there are so many tricks that produce the 4 aces, it's well worth learning. Packet tricks seem to come in and out of fashion. They were certainly very popular when I started magic, possibly less so now. I think it's all card magic, and because this makes sense, because it's your card collection, it does make sense to bring it out in a wallet separate from your ordinary deck of cards. The routine's got a nice story to it. It's got a nice hook. I just think it's highly recommended. I think it's a lot of magic for $13.99. He teaches you a routine that's got a lot of magic in it with just a couple of basic sleights that you probably already know. So that is my poker collection by Martin Braessas. And now I've got one of the hot items of the week. It's been on pre-sale all this week. It's actually released on Monday. It is the Shelby wallet by Mark Mason and Gaz Lawrence. I don't know, it's funny that it's on pre-sale because it was actually released in Blackpool, I believe, earlier this year. So I'm not sure for the reason for the pre-sale. It is a peak wallet. Yes, as if we haven't had enough of those recently. Here's another one. They're well worth, if there's any creators out there, it's well worth making a peak wallet because people can't seem to get enough of them. This one is less of a wallet and more of a card holder. So it's nice and small, nice and slim. So it's very easy to fit in your pocket. And the leather seems quite nice. It all seems quite standard. I'm not keen on this bit, but you can change this. You can, I'd take a photo of something else. I think Gaz in the tutorial mentions he has a photograph of his driving license on there or something that you just sort of stick on with some repositionable glue. This is where you would put your card. So essentially you'd have your business card in here. You'd have to take it out, give someone a pen, ask them to write anything down, draw anything, whatever you like. It is a full card peak, so you're not restricted. You don't have to do any of those sort of lines on the business card or draw a circle for them to put it in, a sort of crystal ball, as it were. None of that stuff. You get a full card peak with this, and they can write anywhere on the card as big as they like. So drawings and so on are absolutely fine. And then you have to put it back between these two credit cards here, and you get the peak on the other side. It's very nice that it's a full card peak. The problem is, and I don't know, I've been checking the tutorial, and the one on the tutorial seems stiff for this one. This one, I don't know whether it's just I've been using it a little bit. But my the peak I've got is quite loose, and that means that although if I do it as Gaz Lawrence teaches it with his preferred handling, where you sort of do it and then you hold it like this and everything else, the angles are just awful. And then because of the material used in one part of this gimmick, it just seems to telegraph, just sort of shouts almost that it's there. So angle wise, I find this really, really difficult to use, and I don't know whether it's just mine, whether I've used it too much, whether it's worn out, whether it's a manufacturing fault. If I'm standing up at a table and someone's sitting down at a table, they can see what I'm doing. Anyone from an angle other really than straight on will see what I'm doing, and that it just makes it almost impossible for me to use. In a way, it's a good idea. I like the fact you can sort of plop the dirty side face up and everything else, but because of the angles, I just can't see how it can be practical. Certainly not for walk around. Unless if you're doing it one-on-one, you'll be fine. But if you've got any form of a group, because as soon as that angle reduces pretty quickly when you've got 3 or 4 people, unless you hold it really close to your body, which is a bit odd. Yeah, and they've got to be the same height as you as well, because like I say, mine's got quite loose. I don't know if I can't really tighten it up. So that's a real shame. You can only fit your business cards in here, so you can only really sort of get 1 or 2 in at times. So you're going to have to store those somewhere else as well. The tutorial is basically Gaz and Mark Mason, and there's no real performance of this, and that's a real shame, because if I was getting into mentalism, or which I'm not a mentalist by any stretch of the imagination, I would want to know some tips, and there are some real flaws as well. So Gaz says you can ask them to write down anything or draw anything, and the problem with that is, yes, you can see it, but you're getting a peek, and if they've scrawled something and you don't recognize it, you're in trouble. And so that is really awful. So personally, I would recommend that you go with a category of some sort that so say write down the name of a capital city that you'd like to visit, something like that, because that way with your peek, even if the handwriting's pretty bad, you've got a very good chance of recognizing what it is. So that's a little bit of sort of advice that I would have liked. So there's just 2 studios performances, one where he's demonstrating it and one where he's showing it to Mark how he does it. And because of the angles being so bad, as I mentioned, the moment where Gaz gets the peak is actually cut out. It's almost quite comical the way the camera sort of zooms in and Gaz sort of leans out, you know, till he's out of shot, gets the peak and then comes back in. Which really did make me chuckle. There is an option of getting the peak as you put it into your jacket. That's sort of not really, feels like a bit of an afterthought. It doesn't feel like the way that Gaz does it. In fact, he did turn up without a jacket on, so he wasn't even prepared to demo it. So I'm guessing he doesn't really do it that way at all. So it would have been nice to see some live footage of this sort of working in the real world to really give yourself some ideas. There's no sort of routine suggestions as such, you know. It is basically, yeah, they can write anything and you can peek it, which is a shame. It would be nice if they could sort of give you some themes or give you some little extra tips. There is a sort of bonus section at the end where they talk through a few nice handlings. Mark Mason's got a nice handling of it, but like I said, it doesn't really prevent the angles from being a very big issue for me. The other thing, of course, is that it's a wallet. And the big problem about Peak wallets is you've got to, or you feel you've got to somehow justify why you're putting your business card they've just written on back into the wallet rather than just holding it in their hands or putting it in their pocket. There is no good justification for why you're doing that. The best thing you can do is to just stick it in, stick it on their hand, get your peak first, obviously, and just run with it and hope that they don't have any questions. Nonchalance is the best way to go with that. Essentially, I feel that most people buy lots of Peak wallets because they're trying to get around the fact that they're using a wallet, and so they're desperate for one that has a method that almost doesn't need the wallet. That it's only $39.99, and I think that's just about the right price mark for it. Personally, I'm not a big fan of Peak wallets. I would really think that you'd be better off getting something like the Billet Masterclass, which they teach you all of the peaks, all of the things from Billet, so you don't need to carry this around because you can't really use this as your everyday wallet, so it is an extra thing to heft about. Or even, you know, you get some nice little peak ideas from Trifecta. If you head to the 1914 site, Simon Lipkin, I reviewed his Trifecta before, and that it's got two nice routines with a nice hook, nice justified peaks that are, again, full peaks, clear as day, bit cheeky, bit bold, but you don't need to carry a wallet around and you get a nice routine. But if it is a peak wallet you're looking for, I'm not sure this is the final answer. For me, it's very, very angly. And now, what the G says.
Alex!
Don't blame me. You said I could write anything. That is how you spell Natalie and Bruglia. I could see the what's it, but I was sitting down. Nope, still see it. Nah, still see it. If I stand here, yep, that's fine. Next up in the hot seat is M Prediction by Mickael Chatelain, no less. This is a very short, clean effect. Very simple. You show that you have 5 ESP symbols. You turn them all, you mix them up, you turn them face down, and the spectator can choose one. You can do it by having an imaginary dice if you like, albeit a 5-sided one, or they can simply name a number. However you want to do it, you know, you can do some sort of Zener prediction if you like and go into the history of it. What you do have to add to this is your presentation. And then no matter which number they pick, it matches your prediction that has been face down on the table the entire time. It is very, very clean. it is a very devious method. It's quite an involved method, not by you. You really have to do very little at all, but there's quite a little bit going on. And it's very clever. It's very clever. It's very devious. I feel it's probably over the top and elaborate for such a short, simple effect. But maybe that's what makes it so powerful, because it is really clean. There is a chance that you might end up actually completely clean at the end. It's probably about 1 in 3 chance that everything that's on the table will be examinable, but more likely than not, that won't be the case. A lot of it is, but certain aspects of it are not. So you receive a card box. Looks like an ordinary card box, but it is a very cleverly, cunningly gimmicked card box. Your prediction card and your 5 ESP cards, like so. And these are nice. These are good, thick. They're not playing card. They're thicker than playing card quality. I like the fact that the symbols are different colours as well, so they really do pop. And yeah, so you get that plus another little gimmick that I can't show you for obvious reasons. But it is very clean. They can name any number. That is genuinely the number that you count to. Your prediction will genuinely match. From all of that, it is incredibly good. The problem for me is it's $48.99. You can see when you get it, you can understand where that money's gone. You're just wondering whether or not the trick is worth that much money. If that makes any sense, the effect is worth that much money. You're really going to have to wrap this up and give it some power, really sort of build the suspense, really accentuate that they've had a completely free choice. And if they'd chosen a different number, the outcome would have been different. I would really quite like this to be more of a stage effect. I think if he'd made this for the same price, but made everything a little bit bigger, it would be a really good stage effect. Come on, Mickael, make a jumbo version for the same price, and you'll really, really have a winner. But if you do like the effect, it is as clean as they show on the trailer. Any card named, it will match your card. And that is M Prediction by Mickael Chatelain. And now we've got the No Bag Force by Gonzalo Albinana. Yes, I love saying his surname, Albinana. I don't know if I'm getting that right, Gonzalo. If I've got that slightly wrong, I'm sorry, but I do feel that's how it should be pronounced. This is very intriguing. It does work. It is a way of forcing pretty much anything, and that is really where the genius of this is in how versatile it is. You can force stuff from balloons to little paper billets, to literally any object you like, pound notes, coins. Do with it what you will. It will force it. The problem is, I'm not sure it makes much sense. I kind of think he's got a bit obsessed with getting rid of the bag, as you know, basically it's a forcing. The idea is to make a forcing bag without the bag. He's certainly done that, but why get rid of the bag? The bag seems quite logical. That's what you carry stuff in. It makes sense to present someone with a bag and have them dip their hand in and pull it out. In this case, what you end up doing is, say, having a bag of balloons and then tipping some into your hand, and then going to presenting them to your participants in a sort of mess. I guess if that's your style and you're on stage, it's a bit of fun dropping stuff on the floor, it'll work a treat. But for me, logically, they should just put in it, and you should just hand them the bag, and they should, you know, a hands-off forcing bag would be the way to go. Getting rid of the bag doesn't really make much sense. You do have to customize the prop, so it hides in plain sight, as it were. But in order to do that, you know, depending on whether you're using, you know, bits of newspaper or balloons or whatever, you'll have to customize it so that it hides. Gonzalo says lots and lots of ideas that you can use this for. Like I say, it is very, very versatile, and Gonzalo's got some great imaginative routines for it. Sadly, you don't see any of them, and they're not taught either. He just sort of says, this is one possibility, and he'll describe the routine. This is another possibility, and describe the routine. Indeed, there's no footage of this actually being used live on stage properly, which is a shame. I would love to see him using it, and love to see him performing the various routines that he talks about. That might give me more encouragement to recommend this. As it is a way of forcing an object, whether you want it to be the object or the color or the word, or even a particular razor blade, whatever it might be. This is a way of doing it. I'm not sure it's going to replace anyone's change bag. It just makes more sense to have someone delve in, perhaps not a bag of razor blades. That's possibly not a great idea, but do you know what I mean? The idea that you reach in and grab some and then offer them to someone doesn't make as much sense as them just grabbing. It's not without merit. It's an imaginative idea. It does work. I just don't think the problem it's solving actually exists. So that's the no bag force. And now it's the turn of Mickael O'Brien and his It's Pursenal. This I love. I was amazed by this. I thought it was just going to be a sponge ball routine, and a very good sponge ball routine. I thought it was going to be a very good sponge ball routine because I've seen him perform it on his Penguin Live, and also I've got his books with him. But this is so much more. Now, don't get put off by sponge balls. The lay people love them, all ages, doesn't matter who they are, any demographic. A good sponge ball routine will kill. And this is a really, really nice sponge ball routine. It's different to a lot of other routines, but got some of the same moves in it. Now, Mickael doesn't show a full routine on the trailer, and that is probably because the moves are well known and you'd just be able to reverse engineer it. You start off with the purse frame, you produce a ball, you then produce another ball, and you've got this sort of infinite ball production going on, which is great. You have your two participants, they each have a ball in their hand. You make the same joke, you make the classic joke of them hopping from hand to hand. Then one ball jumps from one hand to the other. And Mickael's way of doing that is bold and brilliant. This person genuinely opens a hand that has nothing in it, and this one has his sponge ball. So usually it's done from your hand to their hand. This is done between two spectators, which is a big difference. And I really, really like what Mickael has done with that section of the routine. The participant with two balls in their hands then closes their fist once again. He gets the coin purse. He asks the other participant to take out an invisible red sponge ball. They do so. They throw it into the hand, and then the first participant opens the other hand, and he's now got three. Again, another strong piece of another strong piece of magic. Brilliant. And then you put them back into the purse frame, and you're done. It's a nice, full-rounded routine, different to another sponge ball routine. I reckon it is one of the most powerful sponge ball routines without any difficult sleights in it, any extra gimmicks. It's just three balls and it's just a purse frame, and I really, really like it. Now, if that was it, you would be very, very lucky. You do get everything you need to start off. You get the sponge balls, and you get this purse frame, and this purse frame is gorgeous. It's quite antique looking, but it's the size, so that is just great. It's much bigger than the usual purse frames that are made by Gosh. It's got an antique finish. It's really nice. You can put your whole hand in it really easily, and it's quality. It's nice, it's sturdy, it's got a good claspy clip. It's really good. It looks like a magic prop to be proud of. It's great that you get everything in there to do the sponge ball routine. You know, he could have just assumed everyone had sponge balls. So the tutorial for its personal routine, it's about 30 minutes long. He covers everything that you need to know. It's got some nice over the head shots. Even if you haven't done sponge ball routines, you can do this routine, which is one of the best, very, very easily and quickly. Mickael is very thorough. But then if you scroll down a little bit, there's a bonus video tutorial, which is 42 minutes long, and it's all about other things you can do with this frame. And let's face it, you're carrying this purse frame around anyway. Why just use it the once for your sponge balls? Although it's very nice that he does use it for the sponge balls. What I did say about the sponge ball routine is it's nice the way they come out of the purse and they go back in the purse, and the purse is used throughout the routine. It's great. But he says you can produce anything from this. But the first things on the bonus tutorial is he starts off with this purse frame. He then produces the smaller Goshman purse frame from it, and then from that he produces a coin. I really like that as a start. It's got a bit of humour, got a bit of comedy, and it's a great way of introducing a coin. He then shows how you can introduce a Sharpie from it, you know, silks, pretty much anything. One of the best bits on the thing is producing, you know, your folded signed selection from one of these. So, you know, have a card signed, lost in the deck, bring out your coin purse, go, this is where I keep it, and bring it out of that. So it's almost a card to impossible location, and it really is an impossible location, and very easy. And he teaches, you know, the sleights required in order to do that folded card. So you do learn the Mercury card fold as well. You didn't have to teach all. This is all just bonus content that Mickael has done. He clearly loves the purse frame. He's clearly used it a lot. Yeah, just brilliant added value. And finally, he teaches a brilliant coin routine through it. And again, yeah, it does not just a brief mention of the coin routine. He teaches it, shows you exactly what you need and exactly how to do it. Completely remarkable. Either one of those tutorials, you know, would be worth a decent amount of money and worth owning. The fact you get both, the fact you get the purse frame, the fact you get the sponge balls, I'm not sure you really need the bag, but thanks anyway, is great. This is one of my favourite products in the shop at the moment, and it is only $38.99 for over an hour's tutorial on the purse frame with some really dynamite routines. And that's it for the show, I'm afraid. I hope you've enjoyed it. If you had, please do subscribe so you'll get updates, plus, you know, all of the other videos and reviews that I put up. And also share it, tell people about the show. I'm very, very keen to up my subscribers. And like I say every week, I do look out for all of the thumbs up. I do look out for all of the comments. I hope you have a lovely week. It is already getting hot here. I'm about to jump in the river. I shall see you next Saturday. Bye bye.